Welcome back. This section is going to talk about what is Fairy Reiki and the benefits of Fairy Reiki and how to kind of connect with the Fae. You're going to notice that at different times I use the term Fairy Reiki. I may use elemental magic. I may use fairy energy. I may use fairy healing. Any of that is okay. Reiki is just a brand name of a specific branch that was passed down to me. And it's basically where you harness the universal energy. And usually, traditional Reiki, you harness it through your crown chakra or through your hands, and it comes from the universe. With this, it is the energy and the wisdom of the fairy realms. And so it's coming from a different source. It also incorporates symbols and attunements, which is what this modality does as well. But just feel like if you want to call it anything else, use it, incorporate it with anything else, please feel free to do that. Because Reiki is, like I said, just a brand. And this one right here is just a specific branch or variation of Reiki. But you may take the Fairy Reiki and create something of your own. So I am never caught up in traditions or right or wrong, or yes, you can, no, you can't. I feel like everyone should go with their intuition with what they like. So if they don't like the word Reiki, but they like the word energy, go for it. So basically, you're using the assistance and the influence of fairies, and these are nature spirits. These may be from forests, gardens, fire, air, water. So we are trying to do the same thing as we always do in Reiki, which is facilitate healing, balance, and spiritual growth. But it may depend upon from one person or another. But generally, we tend to connect to the fairy realm, and we establish a connection and communicate with the fairies. It can be through meditation, through visualization. You will get an attunement at the end of this class, but it's all different aspects of what you like. Fairy Reiki also incorporates the actual fairy energy. So it's loving, it's nurturing. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's a little mischievous, and that's okay. You just learn how to connect with them, channel, and then work with the energy for whoever it is that you're working for, whether it's for healing or energy for yourself or for clients or for friends or family. It is a nature-based healing. So it is associated with nature. It is associated with the elements. So that is why sometimes you'll hear it called elemental healing, elemental energy, and elemental magic. But it is a connection of earth, air, fire, and water. But it's also the incorporation of plants and crystals, sacred spaces, and altars for those to all come together and do different healing, different practices. And then another thing is that because fairies are connected to these elements, they're considered the guardians of these elemental energies. So when you do work with them, you want to be respectful. You want to trust your intuition, and you want to connect with each of the symbols of nature. So it may be that you're really drawn to fire. So you are going to work with dragons and salamanders and fire fairies and all of that. Or you may be pulled to earth, which is gnomes and earth elements like that. So learning Fairy Reiki, you're going to receive the attunement from myself. I am a Fairy Reiki master. And these attunements just open and align your energy channels, help you connect with fairy energy, and it also helps you with specific fairy techniques. So it's important to note that Fairy Reiki is considered a complementary to Western medicine. Be very careful. I know in the state of Kentucky, you cannot say that you're healing someone. That can open yourself up for litigation. But just make sure that you are not promising people anything other than allowing them to relax and feel the energy that comes through you. Now, speaking of that, let's talk about some of the benefits of Fairy Reiki. Learning Fairy Reiki can offer lots of benefits, and it helps on a personal and energetic level. One of them is connection with nature spirits. It allows you to develop a stronger connection with fairies, with nature spirits, with harmony with nature, reverence of nature, and just gain appreciation of the natural world. It does help enhance your intuition and your sensitivity. It will help you go into the spirit realm, into the Fae realm, and be sensitive to subtle energies, signs, messages from these realms. Um, Nature does provide you some healing support. It incorporates the healing power of nature. So you tap in the energies of plants, crystals. If you are already into herbology or crystallology or anything having to deal with natural healing, this is probably the modality that you would like the most. Um, and then just personal transformation and growth. It can be a catalyst for personal growth. And as you work with the fairy energies, you learn more about who you are. You learn more about your life path. You learn more about your purpose. So a lot of times it brings a lot of positive shifts in your life, especially if you are really depressed, you're having a lot of issues with self-esteem. When you start connecting with nature, it begins to energize you, it begins to empower you. And because the fairies are considered the guardians of the natural world, they help you connect to this environmental healing, the earth healing. So you may be inspired to really heal and then give back to them in different practices and conservation efforts. And then they give back to you, and then you give back to them. And it's just a wonderful cycle. The realm of the fairies many times is associated with joy and playfulness and childlike wonder. It can bring a sense of lightness and joy into your life, and it encourages you to use your imagination. So you really want to really focus on the idea of who you are, where you want to be. Now, how do you attract these fairies to you? Well, first of all, you want to create a fairy friendly environment, which means that it is connected with nature. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to be outside if you can't go outside or you live in the city, but bringing something in with you, like creating a small garden, some flowers, some plants, planting flowers outside that will attract butterflies and insects, set up little fairy houses or decorations or little fairy doors. I'm going to give you directions in the class on how to do a fairy garden and fairy doors, and then just little twinkling lights, and just kind of cause a magical atmosphere. And what it is that when you're doing this, it brings them to you, and then they're going to watch to see if you respect nature. Are you trying to create space for wildlife to live? Are you being good to the wildlife? Are you helping with keeping plants and trees and clean water around? And then they also love for you to leave offerings, small gifts, bowls of honey, milk, fresh water in the garden. Invite fairies in. Shiny objects like crystals and coins, even chocolate, but be careful with animals when you leave chocolate out. They say to build a fairy altar, and in the class, they're in the workbook, it does have an example of how to build a fairy altar. So you basically just create a small, beautiful space in your home or your garden. It can be something just as small as 3 or 4 objects. It can be something as large as an entire table or a part of the garden. And you just set your intentions and invite the presence of fairies in. You place a lot of natural objects like stones or shells or feathers or flowers on the altars. And then you can also have little fairy figurines, artwork, fairy oracle cards are wonderful. And then have them bring in the energy. And then when you spend time around the altar and you spend time in nature, then you're going to hear more, you're going to see more, you're going to know more. Because when you're walking and you're meditating and you're just looking at the beauty of nature, this connection just comes naturally. So embrace the childlike imagination, have fun, embrace all the wonder around you, and allow yourself to tap into your own sense of playfulness and creativity and curiosity. Tell stories, write books, draw, craft, make things for the fairy. Create your own magical tales, and through this, the fairies will come to you. So just make sure you check out the workbook for the fairy altar, the fairy garden, the fairy door, and then building your fairy healing team. And what you want to do is use the fairy Bible and just choose from fairies that you want to work with. I would choose one from each element to balance, and then maybe a couple favorites that you really like with, and then just practice with them, practice talking to them, learn about things that they like, and bring honor and things with them. Continue practicing reading through here, creating a healing session. I think that's in the workbook as well. And then if you need to, if you like to, use fairy oracle cards to talk with the fairies. There are fairy blessing cards, there's fairy wisdom oracle, there's oracle of the fairies, there's mystical realms. There are so many cards out there. And there is a handout in the workbook as well about just pulling 3 cards. And the 3 cards are very simple. What is the foundation, or what are you coming in with? What are you wanting? What does it look like? And then what's a baby step that you can do to move forward? It's pretty simple. It's not that hard. And it's a wonderful, wonderful transition to learning how to take what you already know about energy, take what you already know about fairies, learn a little bit more and put them together. Remember that your sessions, your healing sessions may be just for you, and the healing that you will experience will be profound. Maybe you want to add this to some of your clients' works. That's wonderful. They will come to you. The Fae will bring your clients to you. So for now, I hope that you found the wonder and joy in this class, and let me know through email or through comments in the class if you have any questions. Have a good evening.